2026 is shaping up to be pretty good for the power sports industry. This has just been released from Honda, and I kind of wanted to go through it with you guys because for a lot of people, this is going to be a top-notch machine, especially for farmers and things like that. As we go down through here, you can see that they have finally released a Honda Pioneer Elite 1000. Now, what you're getting with that is cruise control, a fully sealed cab with HVAC. This has infrared glass, which is a first in the industry. And what that does is it captures heat and transfers it into the cab. So for summertime, maybe bad, but for wintertime, that's really good to keep your heat in. So they put some technology in the glass and things. There's always some things that I think they could do better, but we're going to go through this and kind of, look at it. I'll give you my thoughts and opinion on it as we go. You get LEDs for this year. You've got a running light at the top, as you can see here, and then you've got an LED in the actual headlight, I think. We'll look down through here and get a little bit closer. Looks like it has a Bighorn tire on it. I like a Bighorn tire. The sidewall isn't that good on a Bighorn, but for Honda to finally do this, I remember years ago going in the dealership and thinking, man, Honda's leaving so much money on the table for not having an HVAC system. Another thing that you're getting is cruise control. Now, Can-Am has cruise control at low speed, but it doesn't have it throughout the RPM range. And with this being the only true 6-speed transmission in the industry, so this does not have any belt whatsoever. So you don't have to worry about, breaking a belt or anything like that. This is a true transmission, which in my opinion is way better than a belt for farmers and things of that nature. Now for woods riders, it really depends on how you ride, but you can switch this over to an automatic because it's a dual clutch in a sense. But for things like plowing and stuff, you can put this thing down in first gear and you're not going to worry about getting your belt too hot or slipping it or your clutch not engaging properly. This is a huge leap forward for Honda, and I think a lot of people are going to really like this buggy. One of the things that I really like about it is the side step that Honda offers, and you'll see that down here as we go through this video. Now, the interior definitely leaves something to be desired. Honda's behind on, technology and stuff, but as far as, them, the market will gauge for them where they go with this. If this is a big seller, then they're going to, obviously they'll add more things in later on. So as we go through here, you can see the seat. It looks really padded right here. So it looks like it's padded extremely well. I'll zoom in here so you guys can see it. See the seat here? It's really thick and bolstered, but it is a flat bench seat, but it's a 3-seater. And then you've got a cup holder right here. You've got a spot for your mirrors right here. You've got little reflectors, your shock and stuff up front. And we'll get into the specs in a little bit. But I wanted to go through some more things in this. You've got another cup holder in your door at the bottom. You can see right here. This has so far 14 mounting points that are going to be added into this. And you can see them popping into this right here. So you're going to have a few extra mounting points. You've got a rear light to see in your bed. I really like that on the Polaris machines, like the Ranger 1000 and the Ranger 1500 has that. There's that step again right here. I really like that step. That's super handy for bed stuff, especially guys that are lifting these, putting bigger tires and stuff on it. It's just a nice thing to have right there, and they're just using the space that would have been covered up. Here you can see the cab. One of the things that I do like and don't like is the door design. To me, looks like a door that was made and slapped on. But what I really like is it looks like this is going to be an easy replacement panel. So if you look right here, you've got bolt. Now, I've not taken one of these apart. I'm just going off what I see. But if you look at these bolts right here, the color panel, when you're woods riding a lot, these doors are usually the sticking point for a lot of things that rub. And as you can see, this is beveled out right here. So if you rub that on the woods or you rub it on a fence post or something like that, it looks like it's going to be an easy replacement for the color part. So if you want to keep your buggy looking good, it looks like you're going to be able to change that panel out easily. And to me, that's a really nice feature to have. Like I said, I do feel like the door kind of looks like a afterthought, but this is their first cab thing, so they're going to improve as they go over the years. Now, right now, they've just got this single cab trim, and as you can see here, it's a 999cc engine, sealed cab, heating, air conditioning, glass windshield, four-wheel drive, dual clutch transmission, and you can get it in two colors. The secondary color is like they call it matte cactus green, and it just looks teal to me, but I do like it. It has a tough matte look to it, and as you can see in the name, it says matte, but I don't know. It might look girly at times. It just depends on how you outfit this machine. But this is the whole thing I was talking about, like this, the door looks kind of slapped on. You can see this huge gap here and how the panels just don't just flow real smooth. It definitely looks utilitarian, and some of it looks like it was kind of an afterthought. As we scroll on down here, you can see that they're talking about cooling the cab and how effective it is. You've got your windshield wiper here. There's a lot of things, like I was talking about, the cruise control that is in this machine. This will be an industry first as far as I know. Now, there is a slow speed control in the new Can-Am Defender, and that's super handy for like spraying and stuff. But you can see here that you can push the buttons and just set your cruise control, and it will cruise at that speed. And I'm guessing you can do that at any speed or any range. So another thing, a lot of places are making these to where you can ride them on the highway now, and we've just had that in our county here recently, so that would be super nice for driving it around town and stuff. And then it talks about, the 6-speed transmission, throttle by wire, it's not electronic, and improved power steering. They talked about that in the release, that they've got an improved power steering in there. And here is your buttons, your speed limiter, cancel, resume, set. So I'm guessing you can set it anywhere. And then you've got your modes, your drive modes and stuff. But a lot of this, like I said, all this looks kind of old school. I do like these flip switches here and what you get. Then you've got Turf 2-wheel drive and four-wheel drive over here. We'll go on down here and look. So here's the cab, as we was talking about. And you can see, let's see what they're saying the points are. So form drops for your side, and structure, things like that. You've got an exterior fuel cap, kind of the normal stuff. Interior wise, see what they're showing in here. So you can see the vents, the dash, a lot of this stuff is, to me, like I said, it's definitely not on par with even like CF Moto or I guess really any of them right now, because all the other ones offer in-dashes, a little bit nicer things. But for a farmer, you're getting all this closable space and stuff, and you're getting a lot of things. Oh, pre-wired accessory right here, that is nice. You've got your shift points on the steering wheel. You're not going to have that on any other machine, so that's extremely nice as well. I I've got all the specs for this. There's the green again, as you can see right here. I do like that green. Like I said, it's definitely a different color that is something you'd have to, depend on how you'd outfit it. But you have a bumper here and a few other things. Let's see. I was gonna show you on. Let's see So this is for a deluxe, but as far as the specs, it's still gonna be the same for the specs on the Elite. Now they haven't announced the pricing, but I built a deluxe, and if you add just a few accessories to it, you're at $22,000. So I'm gonna guess that the Elite is gonna be starting at anywhere from 26 to 30. Maybe it's more, but I think it's gonna be somewhere around there. If they want to compete, they'll have to be somewhere in there. And then it's got a 2,500 pound towing capacity. One of the things that I noticed is the ground clearance is almost 14 inches. So that's really good. And it's running a 27-inch tire. So to have almost 14 inches of ground clearance on a 27-inch tire, this is the deluxe model. But like I said, the Elite is pretty much the same thing, but it's got a cab and, the infrared glass, the windshield wiper, things like that. But your turning radius is 15.4 feet, so that is really good for what these machines are. You're getting a fuel capacity of 7.7 gallons. Now, on the Can-Am, the Kawasaki, all those, I think they're closer to 10. The brakes are 230 millimeters, so you've got decent sized brakes on there. And the travel in the front is 10.6 and 10 in the rear. So the travel isn't as good as like a Can-Am Defender, even an HD10. It's not as good as that. They're around 12 inches. The Kawasaki has over 12 inches. The Ranger, it's right at 10 and 10. So this is a little bit better than the Ranger. This form factor really reminds me of the Polaris Ranger, but you're getting a true gear-on-gear transmission, which should, if you maintain it well, last you a lot longer. But then again, I see people that change the belt and, maintenance the transmission on a Ranger 1500, not a Ranger 1500, but a Ranger, a Can-Am, and I see them with going, anywhere from 10,000 to 20,000 miles, and all they've changed is the belt. So, one of the things that's always in theory in people's mind is it's a lot easier to change a belt than it is a transmission. So if you take care of these things, like I said, a lot of times you don't have transmission trouble, but this theoretically would be a lot better machine in general. Now the height is 80 inches, the width is 63 inches, and the wheelbase is 80.2. So like I said, this is a very form factor of what a Honda or a Ranger 1000 is. It's littler than a Defender. Its size is and stuff, but like I said, for a lot of you guys, this is going to be a really good work machine. I think if you're farming, if you're plowing snow, anything like that, where you're out on a big farm, this would probably be a phenomenal machine. And I will say, I had a few buddies that had the original Honda Pioneers, like the 1000s, and they swapped over to the Rangers or the Defenders because Honda didn't have a cabbed machine. And they said that they really miss the transmission of the Honda Pioneer compared to the power delivery in the Rangers and the Defenders. So I'm guessing they're going to switch back. I don't know what that really meant coming from them, but I heard that 2 or 3 times, and so you can take that for what it is. But if you guys have had one of these and now you see that you can get it in a cab machine. How do you think it's going to compare to the Defender and the other things? I'm going to do a full video showing the breakdown of all of them, and that'll give you kind of an idea of what to buy and what to look for.